Have you ever experienced a moment with a woman where there was a spark and you found yourself wondering if she felt it too, but you couldn't quite figure it out? Today, I'm going to uncover 3 subtle signs that she may already be feeling desire. And believe me, the third one is happening right in front of most men, yet very few recognize it in time. Welcome back. I'm Mary Smith, and this is the Mindful Senior Living YouTube channel. Chapter 2: Why Women Hide Their Intentions. Let me share something important. Many men sense something is there, but they struggle to interpret the quiet, almost invisible signals a woman gives when attraction has already started to grow. Before we explore these signs, there's something essential you need to understand. If you've ever replayed a conversation in your mind, questioning whether a woman liked you, if you've ever walked away from an interaction only to later realize you may have missed something, that doesn't mean you're clueless, awkward, or lacking confidence. It simply means no one ever taught you how to read the language of female desire, and that language is very different from what most men are used to. Men and women often experience attraction in completely different ways. Chapter 3: Sign number 1. She finds ways to be close to you. For many men, attraction feels straightforward. You notice someone, feel drawn to them, and want to act on it quickly. But for many women, attraction develops more gradually and subtly. It's not a sudden leap forward. It's more like opening small doors one at a time, waiting to see who notices. Women tend to assess the emotional environment first. They observe, create moments, and look for safety, curiosity, and mutual interest before letting desire move forward. And if you pay attention, you'll notice something interesting. Women rarely announce their interest loudly. They express it quietly. These subtle signals show up in body language, small behaviors, eye contact, tone, and how she positions herself around you. They exist in moments so delicate that you might miss them if you're not paying attention. But once you understand what to look for, everything begins to change. Chapter 4: Deep eye contact and emotional connection. Suddenly, patterns start to appear. Situations that once felt confusing begin to make sense. Moments that slipped past you before start to stand out clearly. And that's exactly what we're going to explore. But before we continue, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever looked back at a moment years later and realized she might have liked you? Maybe it was a coworker who always found reasons to talk to you, or someone at a gathering who stayed near you longer than necessary. Maybe it was a woman who laughed at your jokes more than others did. At the time, you brushed it off thinking she was just being friendly. But later, you wondered. If that's ever happened to you, know this: you're not alone. It happens to millions of men. And it's not because of a lack of intelligence or awareness. It's simply because most men were never taught how to read these signals. Chapter 5: Playful Touch and Flirting. So today we're going to slow things down and examine 3 of the clearest whispers of female desire. These aren't bold gestures or dramatic declarations. They are quiet signals that show attraction has already begun. And once you start noticing them, your entire perspective on social interaction can shift. If you're already enjoying this conversation, take a moment to hit the like button. It helps others discover these insights and allows this channel to keep sharing meaningful ideas about relationships and human behavior. Now, let's begin with the first signal. The first sign that a woman may already feel desire is something very simple, yet incredibly powerful: touch. But not just any touch. I'm talking about those moments when she touches you without any clear reason. This isn't accidental contact or a casual pat like you'd give a coworker. It's something more intentional, even if she's not consciously aware of it. In neuroscience, this is often described as initiating contact. When attraction activates in the brain, the body naturally looks for subtle ways to reduce physical distance. Touch becomes a bridge. Imagine this. You're in conversation with a woman, both of you laughing. As she responds, she lightly places her hand on your arm. Then she leaves it there just a fraction longer than necessary. Not enough to seem obvious, but enough that you notice. That tiny pause matters more than you might think, because that extra second often reflects comfort, and comfort is one of the earliest foundations of attraction. When someone feels uneasy, they keep distance. Their body stays guarded. But when curiosity and warmth begin to grow, those boundaries soften, and touch begins to appear. Sometimes it's subtle. She might adjust your collar playfully, tap your arm while laughing, guide you gently through a crowd. None of these actions scream desire, but together they form a pattern. Let me share a story. A man once told me about meeting a woman at a friend's birthday gathering. They talked, laughed, and connected easily. At one point, she brushed something invisible off his sleeve. He thought nothing of it. Later, she touched his arm again while laughing, and then again while making a point. Each moment lasted only a second. He barely noticed. Months later, when they reconnected, she admitted, I kept touching your arm because I was trying to see if you felt the connection too. He had missed every signal. This happens more often than you think. Most men are trained to notice loud signals, but attraction is usually quiet. Psychological research shows that when people feel attraction, they mirror closeness. They lean in, orient their body toward the person, and initiate small touches. These behaviors aren't planned. They happen naturally when the brain releases bonding chemicals like oxytocin. So when a woman touches your arm or shoulder, she may not even realize why. Her body simply feels comfortable, and comfort often leads to desire. Here's something important to remember. One single gesture doesn't necessarily mean attraction, but patterns tell a story. If she repeatedly finds reasons to touch you, it often means she enjoys your presence and feels drawn to you. If you've experienced this before, write the word touch in the comments, not just for the algorithm, but to reflect on your own experiences. Awareness is where insight begins, and awareness changes how you see the world. Now, let's move to the second signal. This one is even more revealing. It lives in her eyes. The eyes often show what words don't. You've probably heard that eyes are the window to the soul, and psychology supports that idea. We communicate huge amounts of emotion through eye contact: interest, attraction, trust, discomfort. When a woman starts feeling desire, something shifts in how she looks at you. It's not that she looks more often, it's the quality of the gaze. Many men assume attraction means constant staring, but that's not how it usually appears. Instead, it shows up as a rhythm. She looks at you, holds your gaze slightly longer than expected, then glances away. A few seconds later, she looks back again. That cycle, look, soften, glance away, return, is one of the quietest signals of attraction. Much of this happens automatically. When someone feels genuine interest, the body responds involuntarily. For example, pupils dilate when we look at someone we find attractive. It's a natural reaction controlled by the nervous system. But you don't need to analyze her pupils. What matters is the feeling behind the gaze. When she's drawn to you, her eyes soften. Her attention becomes warmer and more present. Picture this. You're sitting across from a woman having a meaningful conversation. As you speak, she looks at you with gentle focus, smiles slightly, then shyly glances down before looking back again. This pattern repeats naturally. That's often the quiet language of attraction. Experts call this the triangle gaze, where attention moves between the eyes and mouth. But in romantic attraction, there's something more: warmth, softness, emotional presence. And here's something many people miss. When a woman feels attraction, she listens more closely. She remembers small details. She reacts emotionally to your stories. That's not just politeness, it's genuine interest.